So March is Social Work Month, and it's a great opportunity to learn what social workers do as we celebrate their contributions to just about everything. And one of the many areas that we do show up in is private practice. And yeah, social workers, we can own our own practices and be part of practices. And it's a really great opportunity, I think, for us to bring mental health services to the community, whether it's counseling, psychotherapy, and usually we all have our own little twist of how we do that. And it's definitely a growing field, a growing part of the field for us, and a way to just expand how we do social work. And we can do it on a clinical level, addressing psychological issues. As a licensed clinical social worker, you also have the ability to diagnose in addition to treat psychiatric illnesses. And I don't think people always realize that. They often think, oh, I got to go to a psychologist or maybe a psychiatrist or even be seen at a clinic. But, this is part of the misrepresentation about our profession. And that is why we are on this ambitious journey to interview as many social workers as we can over the course of this month. And yeah, so you guys can really learn what we do. My name is Amanda Fludd, and I am also a social worker. And today I'm excited to introduce Andrea Steward, who's an LCSW-S and a private practice owner. Hey, Andrea.
Hey.
Hey, so such a pleasure to have you and share this space with you, and really looking forward to chatting. But can you let us know what the S designation is for your credentials?
So it stands for a board approved supervisor. So in Texas, anybody trying to get their licensed clinical social work, I'm able to supervise them through their process.
Ooh, okay. I love that. We don't do the S. We have the R, privilege, and similar. But I think the biggest similarity is that you have to get supervised until you get to a certain point. And I think that's another thing that people don't realize. Like, we don't just show up and become social workers. There's a education part of it. There's hours that you have to do. If you're going into a clinical space, there's also a supervision that you got to do as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's dive in, Andrea. Fill in the blank for me. Social work, inspiring action, leading change means what to you?
Well, for me, even at the smallest level, it's just like being what I say I'm gonna be. So a lot of times we tell, our clients that self-care, you need a plan for yourself, or you need to set better boundaries with other people. That means I also have to be able to do it as well.
Okay, so you said I'm not just telling you what to do, I'm living it too.
Yes. That way, it's being accountable, it's being able to get firsthand experience. Like if you can do these things, I promise you can handle a lot of the things that are being thrown your way.
Yes, and I love that because we're no different than the people that we help too, right? So if we could give good advice, we should probably also take it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are way more similar to our clients than they think. So yeah.
Speak a word. Yes. All right. So let's see. What is one thing that people find surprising about your work as a social worker?
I don't even know if they say surprising. Well, okay, they do. This the capacity to hold people's like innermost secrets. I get a lot of clients who are like, nobody knows this but you, because they don't want certain feedback from family members or whatever the case may be, but they know I'm giving you a non-biased opinion, so I can tell you everything. So being able to take all of that, because we talk to a lot of people all day, most people are really just like, I don't know how you can manage that. I don't know how to do it either, but make it work.
That's why you got to go back to self-care and use those skills too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are amazing in how we can hold weight for people, but I think we do have to be careful because the burnout rate, I think, is fairly high for our profession too, because I teach at the graduate level. I always tell folks, like, people don't come to social work because things are great. They come to us because they're really going through some things. So we hear the toughest stories, the toughest situations, but it also makes us like really good problem solvers and like effective leaders and really great in so many other capacities because we learn how to navigate people's stuff but we do have to protect our well-being too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes to the skills of the profession, what experiences or skills do you feel are essential for the success of social workers, especially in private practice? And how have you developed those skills over the course of your career?
Truly, like boundary setting with people, even from like a work standpoint, whether you do the private practice route or you work for an organization, you still have to have boundaries for yourself because you're still a person at the end of the day. And so separating work and personal is essential. It hasn't always been the easiest thing for me to do, but over the years, almost having my daughter kind of forced me to do better with the boundaries because now I'm just like, well, I have to have time for her. So this is the time I'm done. And if it doesn't accommodate your schedule, like I can't help everybody.
That's a powerful word. I can't help everybody because I think when we come into this field, we have a little bit of like that superhero complex going. And from a good place, like we do want to help everybody, but it sounds like you learned something about that.
Well, yeah, it is burnout. And so, like I said, working for other organizations, you do get these hefty caseloads. You do overbook yourself. You do make yourself go, 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 just so you can meet the needs of all of the clients you're assigned. And that's kind of why I took a step back, going back into private practice, because I can make it on my own time. But knowing that I'm focusing on a smaller amount of people, I can give them quality work.
Yeah, I think that's the value of private practice, or seeing someone outside of the traditional organization, whether it's like a clinic or a larger scale organization, is we do get the ability to give them that attention. But as I'm hearing you, my mind goes to this space of like, what do folks need to know who are in the position of making policies and making decisions about things like caseload and the quality of care? What are some things that they need to be mindful of? Because we do get to live this experience of seeing a lot of people and doing a lot of work, right? And our our response in a lot of cases is to pull back, is to get into private practice, is to get into smaller things, but it also speaks to a huge issue that does absolutely need to be addressed, right? So if you were to say what's needed when it comes to the quality of care and what we can put in place for folks on a larger scale, bigger agencies, things like that, what would you suggest from your experience?
It just needs to be mutually beneficial relationships when
Mm,
we're talking about working for organizations. And
right.
it's not always like pay matters because look about where we're living in these days with inflation, but just also the benefits that you offer to your employees. Nobody's robots. We have regular lives too. We have families.
Correct.
So it can't just be that you throw on all this work and you think it's going to be a fine balance. Like I have to take care of myself as well. I
Mm,
can't pour from an empty cup. So
yes.
ultimately, we are filling our clients up every time they come into that space. And so it truly just, we just at some point we got to get compensated for what we're dealing with. And we need to fix, like, there's greater issues with like the law in hand
Mhm.
um, that would really take people understanding like what's really happening in the mental health, like ground level, what's going on. But if you
Absolutely.
don't have anybody dealing with the system, you kind of have to loop a little bit on what's really happening. It's just not enough services.
Mm. At the end of the day, it's not enough
Mhm.
services. We're not taking into consideration the well-being of the providers as well. And I think that's important to hear because this month, our theme is also about empowering social workers. So I think if we want to empower folks in this field, we have to hear things like what Andrea just said, because that's how we're going to keep healthy, vibrant systems and allow us to keep serving at the capacity that we clearly want to serve in. Um, yeah, but we want to stick to it. We don't want to have to find all these other avenues, but because we're social workers, we will. All right, Andrea, last one. Finish the sentence for me. I wish people understood social workers, dot, dot, dot.
Deserve their rest.
Ah! I need to be on a t-shirt.
Deserve our rest. We do a lot, and it's very meaningful. It's a reason why we all get into the field, just because we enjoy the work that it entails. But yes, I deserve to rest too. I got to go to bed. I got to tuck my kids in. I got things to do as well. So it's I think this shift with all these platforms where people can just access you so quickly, people
Mhm.
have forgotten like I need to rest too. I gotta take care of business as well.
Both sides. As the social workers, we've forgotten that. And on the other side, where clients expect you when they want you on demand. But like you said, we're human too. We need to rest. Yeah, I love that. Andrea, thank you. Thank you for the path that you're creating for other professionals and for yourself and for our clients, and for letting us see, what else is possible, but also that balance really matters. So on behalf of the professionals, if I carried the weight, we applaud you and we thank you for all that you're doing. Love it. And to everyone else in the profession who's listening, make sure you tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend to come see what social workers can do, to hear what we really need and how to really support the profession. If you're in a capacity to affect change, do that. If you're in a capacity to just share a message, even just by sharing this when you see it, we appreciate that. It goes a long way. So thank you very much. I'm Amanda Fludd with Andrea Steward, and we thank you. Happy Social Work Month, everybody.
Bye.